Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about synonyms and antonyms. If you have your packet that says April 13th at the top, it should be the second packet that you received in the mail. You can get that out. We're going to be using it for today's activities. If you don't have this packet, don't worry, there will be a digital version for you to use. But if you have your April 13th packet, I would get it out so you can follow along with me and you can take some notes as we do it. So today we're going to talk about synonyms and antonyms. This was a lesson we were supposed to do live, but we're going to be recording it for you guys since Blackboard isn't working. So the reason why we're talking about synonyms and antonyms is good writers use the most accurate words possible to make their writing more descriptive and interesting to the reader. Saying the cake was good is not as descriptive or vivid as saying the cake was mouth-watering. Therefore, good writers need a large vocabulary to make their writing better. We can improve as writers by replacing worn-out words with more powerful synonyms. So you may need a reminder of what a synonym is. Synonyms are words that mean the same or almost the same as another word. So synonyms are the same. An example of this would be when Harry was brave when he stood up to Malfoy. What are some synonyms for brave that would make this sentence more interesting? Courageous, fearless, confident, unafraid, heroic, and determined are all synonyms for brave. They give us a little bit more information and they give us a better idea of how he was feeling and acting in that sentence. Now, antonyms are the opposite of a word. So antonyms are the opposite. Sometimes it's helpful to think about what a word definitely isn't in order to define what it actually is. If a pizza is squishy, then you know it isn't hard, crunchy, or crispy. Hard, crunchy, or crispy would be antonyms for squishy. That also then tells me that I can imagine it might be soft, gooey, or rubbery. So synonyms and antonyms are a great way to help you determine the meaning of a word that you may not know. So now that I have a reminder of what synonyms and antonyms are, I'm going to go into the activity in the packet. If you're in the printed version of the packet, we're going to go to page 9. Page 9 in your packet says Grade 5 Language Arts Weekly Student Message. So we're going to be using this letter to work with synonyms and antonyms. If you do not have the packet, the letter is copied for you here. It says, use the letter below to answer the vocabulary questions. Dear student, welcome to your second literacy learning packet. I hope you enjoyed last week's packet and strengthened your reading and writing by completing it. Last week we worked with words that have the same or similar meanings. Now you should be thinking, okay, I already know that words that have the same or similar meanings are synonyms. I bet you can guess what we're working with this week. If you guess words that have the opposite meaning, then you're correct. Now you should be thinking, Miss Abrams, I got this. I know that the opposite meaning means they're talking about antonyms. Also, this week we'll continue working on our feature article. We're going to work on revising them. I've made a checklist to help you improve your writing. Now, if you've been working in the packets already that you've been getting in the mail, then you may know what this feature article is, and maybe you've started working on it already. If you haven't, no problem. We're going to be talking about the feature article next week in our live lessons. I hope you're taking some time each day to read, write, and discuss your learning and ideas with other people. Talking about your learning and ideas helps you to understand them better. Often it sparks even more ideas. That's why your smart 5th grade teachers had you do a Flipgrid earlier this week. Here's something for you to think about. There are many ways to find out more about a topic. One of my favorite ways is to talk to someone who knows a lot about it already. What are some ways you learn about things you care about? Thank you, your learning coach. So now that we've read the letter, we're going to be using the letter and words in the letter to find synonyms and antonyms. So if you're in the packet, the next page says vocabulary work, and it gives you a little bit more information about antonyms. But since I gave you guys that information already, we're jumping here at the bottom of page 10 where it has this table. If you're in the digital version, the table is copied for you. It says, find these words in the letter and think of an antonym or a synonym for each. Read the new sentence to make sure the new words are antonyms or synonyms for the word from the letter. So now I'm going to look for the word enjoyed in paragraph 1. I need to read that sentence again. It says, I hope you enjoyed last week's packet and strengthened your reading and writing by completing it. So using this sentence to help me, if it's something that strengthened my reading and writing and made it better, then I know that enjoyed is going to be a positive word or a good thing. So I'm thinking that a word that would mean the same would be liked. So I hope you liked last week's packet. If I liked it, I'm thinking that would be something that I wanted to do, something that was helpful for me, and something that could be an antonym. I could use that prefix dis, and I could say I disliked it. I hope you disliked last week's packet. That would be kind of the opposite. I hope you hated it. I hope you did not like it. I hope they were thinking of things that would be the opposite of something that I would have enjoyed doing, something I would have wanted to do. Now the word same in paragraph 2 is here in this first sentence. Last week we worked with words that have the same or similar meanings. Now in the printed version, this is already done for you, so I added it here. An antonym would be the opposite. So an opposite meaning, or a synonym could be matching. If they're matching up, then I know that they would have the same meaning. Now, made in paragraph 3 says, I have made a checklist to help you improve your writing. So when I think of the word made, I think of something that wasn't there before and I had to create it. So I'm going to say a synonym for made would be created. I have created a checklist to help you improve your writing, because if it didn't exist before, then they had to start from scratch. Now, if I'm thinking of the opposite of made, or the opposite of created for an antonym, the first word that comes to mind is destroyed, because if I had to, build something up and then take it apart, or I had to create something and then take it away, so I have destroyed a checklist. If you have a different antonym that you could think of, please email me at aeabrams@fcps.edu. I'd love to hear other antonyms that you have, because that one was kind of tricky. I'm going to let you guys do these next two on your own. So understand in paragraph 4 is right here where it says ideas help you to understand them better. So you need to think of an antonym and a synonym for the word understand. And favorite in paragraph 5 where it says my favorite ways to talk to someone who knows a lot about it already. Now, if you're in the printed version, it says familiar in paragraph 5, but I do not see the word familiar in paragraph 5, so I'm thinking that was a typo. So if you're in the printed version, you could just cross off familiar and write favorite, and you guys can finish the table with the synonyms and antonyms. And the last thing we're going to talk about today is how you can use synonyms to make your writing more descriptive. So if you're in the printed version of your packet, the next page, page 11, gives you some more information about synonyms and how they can make your writing more vivid and give your readers some more details just by making your word a little more descriptive and powerful. And if you go down to page 12, that's where we have this activity here. So page 12 if you're in the printed version. If you're in the digital version, we're just scrolling down. It says read the sentences below, then think of a more power word or synonym for each underlined word in the sentence. Write your word in the chart below. So for this word good, my cake tasted good, I ate the whole thing. Now when I think of the word good, and I'm thinking of something that I enjoyed eating, I would describe it as delicious, or maybe yummy, or scrumptious. These are words that are more descriptive and more powerful when I'm thinking of describing something that tasted, something I like to taste, something that tasted good, something that tasted delicious. And the word mad, I'm so mad at my sister today. So maybe you've been fighting with your siblings while you've been home from school, and maybe your siblings have angered you, maybe your siblings have frustrated you. These are words that are a little more powerful than mad. As fifth graders, we can think of a stronger synonym that gives our readers a better idea of how we're feeling. And bad, the bread was bad. I don't think it was cooked long enough. So again, they're making us think of something that we tasted that we didn't enjoy. Maybe you describe it as gross or disgusting. Those are more powerful synonyms that give my reader more information when I'm describing this bread. I'm going to have you guys do this last two on your own. I like the book, especially the villain. So think of a more powerful word or a synonym for liked. And it was a boring day. I couldn't go outside because of the rain. Maybe you've had some time where you've been bored since school's been closed. So let's think of a more powerful word for bored or boring. And the very last thing, there's a bonus where you need to revisit the letter above, find a weak word, and replace it with a power word. So if you're in the digital version, we're just going to go back to the letter here. If you're in the printed packet, you need to go back to page 9. So they want you to choose a word that you can make more descriptive. So pick a word in here where you think that you have a synonym in mind that gives that sentence a little more detail. It puts a little more oomph in the letter. And then you're going to add that to the chart. Hopefully you guys learned something about synonyms and antonyms and ways that you can make your writing more vivid and more detailed with synonyms and antonyms. And hopefully we'll get to see you guys soon. We love you and we miss you. Bye.